In this demo video, you will learn how to complete and submit the Income Tested Assistance Reconciliation Form, or ITA Reconciliation Form, to the Agency for Co-operative Housing. The purpose of this form is to figure out the difference between how much subsidy the cooperative received from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, better known as CMHC, and how much the co-op gave to its members. Every year, the Housing Co-op completes and submits the ITA Reconciliation Form to the Agency for Co-operative Housing, the administrator of the Federal Co-op Housing Program, on behalf of CMHC. 1 month before the fiscal year end, the agency sends co-ops a notice to file both the ITA Reconciliation Form and the Annual Information Return no later than 4 months after the fiscal year end. Before we begin, make sure to read the Learn More section of the ITA Reconciliation Form. You can pause the video while you read. It defines an assisted unit designation and a subsidy block. It also describes how you can add and delete rows in the worksheet. Once you finish reading the Learn More section, you can click on the Who Are You tab. Complete the basic information requested, such as the name of the cooperative and the name of the person completing the form. Enter the co-op's fiscal year end. You will notice a small red triangle on the top right-hand corner of the housing charge to income ratio box. A note pops up whenever your mouse goes over a box with a small red triangle. In this case, the note explains that if your co-op changed the housing charge to income ratio throughout the year, you will need to prepare a separate form for each of the ratios used. We're using 30% in this example. For example, if you started the year with an RGI of 32% and later in the year you reduced it to 30%, you will need to do an ITA form for the 32% and a second form for the 30%. Next, report how many households were receiving income-tested assistance during the last month of the year reported. If the co-op has one minimum housing charge for all unit sizes, please fill out the single minimum field. In the next section, report the minimum housing charge your co-op charges. Some co-ops apply the minimum housing charge to the unit size, and others apply it to the household size. In this example, the co-op uses a single minimum. If you use another minimum housing charge, such as maximum shelter allowance, please give details in field number 4. After finishing the Who Are You section, you're ready to start filling in the ITA worksheet. Let's get started. Give a different code, such as a combination of letters for each unit that was given income-tested assistance for any part of the year. To protect your members' privacy, do not enter unit numbers or addresses. Start a new line if there is a change in the amount given to the current occupant due to a change in the number of people living in the unit, or a change in income, or if a new occupant starts receiving assistance. Also, start a new line for a new occupant. If you want to show that a new member moved in, you can use a combination of letters and numbers. For example, A1, A2, AB, or AC. Enter the number of bedrooms in the unit. Click on the downward arrow and choose Yes or No to tell us if the household is on social assistance with a shelter component or not. Column B will automatically calculate the percentage of adjusted monthly income, so no need to enter anything here. When the text in the header column is black, it means that the amount is automatically calculated. In column C, enter the utility charge as a positive number and the utility allowance as a negative number. A utility charge is when the co-op pays the utilities, and a utility allowance is when the member pays the utilities. In column D, enter the $2 child allowance for each eligible child as a negative number by entering -2. In column E, enter any amount that increases or decreases the housing charge. For example, an overhousing charge would go here as a positive number. Cable and parking charges do not qualify as adjustments to the subsidized housing charge. Column F will automatically calculate the subsidized housing charge unless you need to override this to enter a shelter component and/or a minimum housing charge. Enter the full monthly housing charge in column G. Column H will calculate the monthly subsidy given. Enter the number of months that apply to the member receiving ITA in column I. Column J calculates total ITA given to each household. The total ITA given to all households for the year that you've listed in the form is calculated on the top right-hand corner of the form. If you provided internal subsidies not funded by the Subsidy Surplus Reserve, please complete the light blue field on the top right portion of the form. This should be the same number that is on line M32 of the AIR. If you're not sure what to enter, just leave it blank. The next field is the total ITA funded from the Subsidy Surplus Reserve from line I-40 of the AIR. Don't expect this number to match the amount of ITA received from CMHC. Let's enter another household where the shelter component applies. We'll label it B. They live in a 2-bedroom unit. Choose Yes for shelter component. Their income is $950 per month. The income will vary depending on which province you are in. Their utility allowance is $75. They have 2 children, so we'll put -4. There are no adjustments to the subsidized housing charge, so we'll leave that blank. The full monthly housing charge for this unit is $1,275, and they occupied the unit for 12 months. Once you've finished entering all the units, you're ready to send a copy of the worksheet to the agency. Email the worksheet as an attachment to your relationship manager. The Section 95 ITA reconciliation is part of your co-op's annual information return, which is due no later than 4 months after your fiscal year end. It is very important that the ITA reconciliation is completed before the audit, and it should be provided to the auditor so that any differences can be fixed before the audit is complete. This finishes our tutorial video on the ITA reconciliation worksheet. If you have any questions, please contact your relationship manager. Thanks for watching.